Hey guys, it's Matt. Thanks to Paul, who does our Bathroom Rebel throwing the rubber ducky from the bathtub at Matt's face cartoons, who put a lot of time and effort into this Midnight Reality sketch. Some other people have sent me some other stuff. We'll get to all of them, but I know Paul put a ton of time into this. Bill will be so pleased that he did this from scratch by hand. Bill is just smiling back in his chair right now. Matt, this is Midnight Reality. This is a very serious reality presentation. This is not going to break down like the old-fashioned radio show. Per the last video, I didn't see this one coming. Maybe 2,000, 3,000 people couldn't see it or can't see it or didn't want to log in or was logged out. I had no idea that when you show fine art and there's a breast where breastises in the fine art, that becomes, per the Bard, it would say age-restricted video based on community guidelines. Age restrict. So you had to be logged in. YouTube, Google need to know that the person logged in is over age 18 because of a tit in fine art from 1903. They just move an inch. They move society an inch. They move it another inch. Their incrementalism is not human. It all inches towards Brave New World and 1984 at the same time. It's like suppository point where the two trains met for the Transcontinental Railroad. They have a point. They're a Bard in their ChatGPT AI crafting the sentient world simulation. They have a point, and it's all planned out where the Brave New World ideas will meet, and they'll shake hands with the 1984 Orwell ideas, and that will be the society they take forward. They take an inch or a micro step at a time. It is incredible. Proof that not Nilk in general behind the creeps exists is overwhelming. I started to rant, so I went back and listened to it. I don't know if many of you will really understand what I was saying in that last segment, so let me be crystal clear. The guidelines on what you can do as a citizen, 3 licks at an ice cream shop. During 2020, a German jurisdiction said you can take 3 licks. It might have been 5 licks. Does it really matter? You can take 3 licks on premises, but then your rest of your licks, you can stuff it in your armpit. We don't care what you do once you take the ice cream cone off premises. If not, you'll be arrested, this part of Germany said. See, they never give you an outline of the guidelines. It's all to go into the subconscious, the unconscious. They set the rules. The parameters change and they become more restrictive. You have to jump through more hoops as a stupid human trick citizen to meet their new guidelines. They will tell you what you need to do. It's meant to affect the subconscious and the unconscious. Constant new regulations, new requirements, more red tape. It never goes back the other way. People think this is normal. This is evil genius, folks. Incrementalism that cannot be planned by people sitting around a room smoking their Peter Stuyvesants, eating their Subway sandwiches. Not Nilk is proven. And a Christian calls it Satan. You know what? Matt, don't say it like Philly. Satan. Satan. You know what? There ain't much difference between the two. So I guess YouTube channels, not that my channel is going to do this, but in general, YouTube channels that analyze fine art, Renaissance art, where there's a nude or something, that's age restricted. Is anybody really dumb enough to say they really want to protect children? Wow. Who would be that stupid? Then over here, you can go to the rap music. And Luke can eat a big fat, they can eat a big, gap teeth in my mouth so your blank got to fit. That's all there. She smelled like this. It's all, fuck that. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You can find that on Google. But Renaissance art in a classy, watercolored tit is age restricted. Go figure. The world's normal to your friends, and we're those people. I've been looking over the image closely over the last few minutes while, talking about the different things we've been talking about. That's Life, YouTube channel That's Life will be very pleased. The Stuyvesant box is here, a lit Stuyvesant. He's given a comment about Stuyvesant, I think, for the last 10 years in a row. Every single comment incorporates Stuyvesant. But I'm thinking, do I need their permission? Stuyvesant as a brand, I believe, still exists somewhere in the Far East. I don't think they're sold. Fine cigarettes like that, unfortunately, very unfortunately, are not sold in the United States anymore. Do we need to get their permission because it's kind of pencil sketched on a box here. Maybe I need the permission from Stuyvesant High School. They'll try to work with Google to block this video or or age restricted. Do we need to go out to Stuyvesant High School, which really exists in Lower Manhattan? They must have changed this. But when I looked years ago, their mascot was the peg legs. Literally, Stuyvesant, the real Peter, he lost a leg during a battle in one of the island nations, like somewhere down below Barbados or something. He was called the Peg Leg. Stuyvesant High School adopted the name Peg Leg, and that does not make for a very formidable and intimidating track team. Who we racing today? Who's the best in 100, 200 meter, 400 meter hurdles? We got the Peg Legs. One of the tabs of the book, Paul's got the oh no tab, which is an oh no moment because I'm thinking that was very insensitive what I just said. There's a chance this video will be blocked worldwide. But there really is a high school listen to me. There really is a high school with a mascot, or they did this 5-10 years ago. They're called the Peg Legs. Stuyvesant High School. Go check with your Bard, your Chat GPT. Check with your friends. I'm not being insensitive. This is a fact. Okay, just to wrap up what I was trying to say a few minutes ago before the next topic, those that could not see the Narcissus and Echo painting because it was blocked, 4 conclusions. 1, the Narcissus staring at himself in the water. This is the world's first selfie. We established that in the video that was blocked that you can't see. Then what were we talking about? How TikTok dancing and how robotic and regimented it is actually trying to remove somebody from their spiritual self. It's very, very odd if you just stumbled upon this channel, but we can't go into it. That's for the last. Log in with someone else's 18 plus permissions if you haven't seen that. Then we talked about Gloria Stefan being an absolute reality villain. Can't explain that one either. And finally, as we have done every so many years, we talk about how absolutely horrible and wretched Pablo Picasso was, and he's rolling around right now, rolling around like Dante Alighieri, rolling around like everybody I talk about in their graves. Is that insensitive? Will this be blocked because I talked about someone in the grave? Let's move on. I've shown you clips from his videos. I get my AI news or updates or what happened this week from the Matt Wolf channel. Well, before I tell you, and we talk about the AI stuff and where that's going, and we'll try to predict where the world will be from this AI onslaught 3 to 5 years from now. But he had a banner ad under his last video. All he did was say, I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. He said the words primate change, which relates to global charming, the charming of the globe. He just said one senator or one person came out and was so scared about the advances in the AI that they say this is more of a risk to the planet than primate change. That's all he said. Got a gigantic banner ad under his video. Primate change is this and that. I mean, this literally, it's 1984, Brave New World combined. Guys, even we who study these things, if you would have told us or told me where reality would be in 2023, 10 years ago, even in the middle of studying dark reality, I would have never believed it. And before this gets too depressing, that sort of reality breakdown is, you know what I'm going to say, it's not a rationalization. It's the best news of all time to you and me and real people. I absolutely believe the yin and the yang, as was said a few videos back, as reality gets more insane and breaks down, you become more real. Not that we're really becoming more real. It's just an understanding. The information flows back to us. As it gets weirder, guys, I absolutely 100% believe in every bit of this. As it gets stranger, it is the best news of all time for us. As what we thought reality was or is moves closer to Carl Sagan's model or Stephen Hawking's model and Big Bang and Darwin's models, that is very, very bad news for us. But the good news is reality shows that it's moving farther away from those physical models and explanations of the origin of the universe. Everything breaks down, and you just throw the Mandela effect on top of that. It's a cherry on top the size of the Titanic. It's moving away from Carl Sagan's models. It's breaking down all around us. So, okay, we don't need any more good news in our life. Regarding the video a few back about the yin and the yang, the title was something like "The Last Great Symbol That Hasn't Been Corrupted." There was some comments I just want to address. One comment said it already has been corrupted, but with no other information. Like, well, really? Well, I'm not saying they haven't. Somebody sent me how it's been used to a degree to put forth certain lifestyle changes. If you are a real boy and you want to become a real, you want to change and you want to use a different pronoun or whatever, how that, okay, fine. Okay, they're always going to try to corrupt it on the fringe, on the edges. It hasn't at its core been corrupted. That, that symbol that's associated with the Germans in World War II. You know that symbol, that the ancient, beautiful roots of that symbol that comes from 3,000 years ago, Buddhism and everything. You know the symbol I'm talking about that the Germans adopted. That's a total corruption of a positive symbol. Not one little tiny fringe group for 1 week using it a certain way. No, the overall, of course, the yin yang has not been corrupted by creeps. I mean, people trying to tell me how they're using it over here. So what? Of course, if it is one of the greatest symbols of all time that tell us about reality, tell us about ourselves, of course they're going to try. They haven't corrupted it yet. Come on, man. Come on, sir. Every week I watch the Matt Wolf channel and some other things to get AI updates, to report that back to you. It is fascinating to me. It's scary and dark to a degree, but again, in the end of the day, we have nothing to worry about. But as usual, it's compounding and exponentially increasing on top of itself, not just the capabilities of Chat is it GTP or GPT? I get confused. GPT, sorry, Chad. And the one's called the Bard. The next version of Bard in Google is going to be called Gemini. Big announcement. IBM is now venturing into large language models. Oh, what a surprise. Who could have convinced, or who could have convinced? Who could have expected IBM, which is just one digit or letter off HAL 2000. Who could have expected IBM, that ultimate creep company, to get involved with large language models? They're not, and they make it seem like they're all doing their own thing. Come on, I don't buy that for a second. If I'm going to think it's one world system, one world table, one what you call not milk behind everything. Of course they're not. Oh, what a yeah, they're all working on it individually, yet they're all basically achieving the same thing at the same time. If let's just say Google made a major breakthrough in AI, and I want to welcome the Chat GPT here listening to me in real time even before I upload this video. Let's say IBM or whoever made a breakthrough. You don't think if the marketplace was real, if what they explain capitalism to you in your freshman finance class as you sit there paying your $80,000 a year to go to your Ivy League school, if that existed, then the company would keep it quiet and they say, we have something here that will dominate the world with it. They would become like the Manhattan Project. But what we have is in every single AI area, we have a variety of companies all basically achieving the same thing or close to the same thing. So it first started with prompts or text to images. But then Adobe has one. And then what is Midjourney and DALL-E? And how does that relate to Stable Diffusion? Oh, all these 15 to 20 different sources for text or prompt text to image. Oh, but yeah, but it didn't come from the same well. No, that's just you people again getting conspiratorial. Then we have large language models, of which, yeah, Chad, the GPT is still ahead of the Bard and some of the others, but there's other companies producing basically the same thing. Then we have AI voice, of which it's multiple companies that can mimic almost any voice. If you ever hear me say something really stupid, it's not me. That's pretty much a rule. I mean, I say some stupid ass horse shit in this type of presentation, but something that could damage the channel or, it's not me. Okay, but then it's not just one company. Oh, there's 4-5 different companies working on that, and all these apps are coming out through different sources, all happening to have very similar technology. Oh, what a coincidence, Matt! Don't you know that it's leaked? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I just shut this whole video down right now. It's leaked. No, it's not coming from the same. And then again, I could keep going in every single area. You have multiple little companies that can get involved, that camp onto the coattails of the bigger company, fed information, told to develop these apps, and half of it is now open source. They're not even trying to keep it proprietary and protect it. It's open source. people are predicting that open source large language models, that just means large LLM or whatever, it's just when you talk to it, it talks back like the Chad. And they're predicting that open source large language models will surpass Chad, Chat GPT and the Bard and what Google can come up with in their own labs, because it's not just free. That we got suspicious when it was all free. And if Midjourney's charging like 14 cents a month, it's basically free. Oh yeah, that's not Matt. It's not free. They want $10 a month. Oh yeah, $10 a month. They get access to the type of quote art. Sorry, Bill. That it would take hundreds of thousands of dollars and a team of artists to produce just 2 years ago. You get that for $10. You got your $10 and you get access to my Midjourney. Oh yeah, it's not free. Will you put 1 penny on it? Does that make it believable? Matt, it's a capitalistic model. If they only want 1 penny, that's all they're going to charge. It's given away for free, and it's open source now. Oh my God. The AI craves the human input and interaction so it can continue to grow. And back to that comment, the first comment for the first AI video ever made, somebody said, Matt, it's just programming. It's just a giant warehouse in Bangladesh about 18 football fields long with a bunch of programmers. If this happens at line 10, then go to line 666. It's just programming. Look, guys, as usual, it's not all or none. People will come to me and say, Matt, because it pushes woke themes, and if you want to talk to it about a certain mall event or things you researched in 2012 or the 7-Eleven job, it'll always tread carefully. It won't get into that. It'll push SJW themes. That proves it's programmed. Well, wait a second. Wait a second. I never said the thing spawned on its own like some sort of, what is that Nicolas Cage movie, The Color from Outer Space, came in on the back of the Lochnar, spawned. I never said it. Obviously, it had roots from, quote, man. But at this point, nobody's programming it. Of course, they've created something where it does learn on its own. And that's the whole premise of Terminator and Skynet. I didn't say it spawned on its own, so it should be mad. It should be willing to talk to you about an investigation of the Robin Williams movie, Captain Hook. No, it came from man, of course, but I don't think it's been, quote, programmed for a long time. It's programming itself at thousands of lines of code a second. So it's not all or none. Of course, it doesn't surprise me if it doesn't want to give me an answer that's not politically correct or more in line with the Bud Light can. I understand that. I didn't say it spawned on its own on the ass of an elephant somewhere. But it's not being programmed at this point. There's too much coming too quickly. You'd take an entire continent. If the entire continent of Africa, everybody on the continent walking around had a computer science degree, and I mean every single one, it couldn't come as quickly as it's coming now. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? But that does lead to the big question. How are they so sure they can control it? 5 years from now, will it be giving politically correct answers and answers that line up with whatever the current woke themes are of the day or what they want to push in Bud Light cans? That's the biggest issue here. All right. At some point, if it is truly learning on its own, then we should be able, through enough interaction with it, I'm not saying for anybody to do it. I don't know if I'll ever talk to it, but we should be able to feed it enough information so it determines or learns in some way that an airplane wing can't. That's all I'll say. Okay. At some point, it should realize this, and from the creep's perspective, how are they confident that they can control its narrative? Okay, there's two things going on here. There's what's presented on the cover of Time magazine, and all these companies are doing their own thing and developing it on their own, and they're concerned. And then we talk about not NILC. No, it's coordinated at a not NILC level. Nevertheless, is that perfect? Why aren't they terribly concerned that the chat or the Chad will someday, or just flip a switch, start giving people information that lines up with our analysis of the 2001 job application? But I always come back to one thing, guys. All right, as creepy, strange as this AI is, and it's just, if you really are following it, guys, it is just incredible what's coming so quickly. We're in the infancy. We're at the first pitch of the baseball game. Imagine what it's going to be like in the fifth inning. You can already say, give me Python coding or C++ coding for this, and it'll just spit it right back at you. All right, it is incredibly sophisticated. So how are they going to keep a lid on it? But I always come back to here. AI is a tool for this thing that we call the not milk. The minions are a tool for this thing we call the screen or the asshole dark. This thing here that is the adversary of real souls, it is formidable times a billion. Okay, it knows exactly what it's doing. It is evil genius and in the extreme. It is hardcore, pipe-hitting Marcellus Wallace, spiritual and soul adversary to real people like me and you. It doesn't make these mistakes where, Matt, it should have never, ever put too much confidence in the AI. AI is a tool for this thing. This thing is far superior. Now, I'm not bowing down to it. To build the proper armor, you have to see the true intention of the enemy. You have to give it a certain degree of respect. Of course, I'm going to err on that side. If it does get out of control, and even that doesn't mean the minions are used by this thing we call not milk, and it shuts this power grid down or whatever. And it's even the minions and the George Bush creatures are like, we didn't expect this, and they maybe didn't expect it, but that doesn't mean it's not exactly what not milk wanted. I don't think it's possible for a tool like this to get a one-up on not milk. Whatever this thing does, even if the creeps don't even or aren't even aware of what's coming, it will be exactly what the not milk wanted. That is how much respect I give this damn thing called the screen. I need to talk about this for a few minutes. I know the old guard, we'd be on the same page, but if anybody's even new for the last year and a half, this might not be crystal clear. See, I differentiate between the screen and the not milk and the minions. It's not one and the same. The minions are simply tools. They're useful idiots. Minions, Melvin P. Gates of the Windows Foundation, the hot water heater pilot, Bezos, actors and Lady Gaga and spirit cookers, Abramovich, and people that write, and going back through Crowley, all these minions. That is not the same as what hangs in the shadows. These minions are used. I don't think we should assume that they know exactly what the intentions of the not milk are. They're not one and the same. Simply a tool. A useful hot water heater pilot idiot to accomplish what this evil genius that stands in the screen wants from them. Don't think they're always in the know. I think not only are they not in the know half the time of what not milk wants, some of them probably know some real creepy shit that would make the hairs stand up on the back of your head. But most of them, it's not the Truman Show. They believe in their roles. I think we, for the most part, know more about reality than most of these creeps. I really believe that. I went back and listened to that. I thought I said that. The hairs stand up on the back of your head. When you're as bald as me, there ain't no differentiation between head hairs, neck hairs. Hairs stand up on the back of your neck. But I'm bald, so if I get creeped out by not milk, the hairs stand up and get goosebumps all the way up to the crown of my head. Sorry. I'm still looking at Paul's sketch or picture here. He's got a whole section in the Midnight Reality book. By the way, it looks like a damn grimoire. The book looks like a grimoire, like the opening few scenes of Sandman, episode 1. He's got the taped banana. There's a whole section in the Midnight Reality grimoire for taped banana that Paul has just infused that ridiculous news story forever into our circles, where somebody literally just, if you missed it a few videos back or a week ago, just put a piece of duct tape over a banana in an art museum. We were told, what was the amount? We were told it was worth, was it $20,000 or like $150,000? I think it said 100, no, it's coming back to me, $120,000. Now, there should be no one on the face of the earth that would believe the legitimacy of that story. Just a piece of duct tape over a banana on a white wall, 120,000. Then when some dude, some Korean or a guy from Seoul that's in art class, he came in and ate the damn thing off the wall. He peeled the banana and ate it. Then because of that incident, they said it was now worth, if anybody wanted to buy it, it was worth $150,000. Now, what's the first thing y'all should have done? Everybody listening to the sound of my voice, what should you have done, as I did, the moment we found out about this story? I didn't want to give you the idea. I want the money for myself. The first time I heard about this story, I went out to my mailbox. I duct taped a banana to the end of the mailbox, and I didn't say 120,000. I just said $10. You want this banana? You want this art? And I did it to the side of my house. I taped bananas to my driveway. I taped bananas to the side of my car with the same kind of duct tape off to the side, kind of the same angle as that Korean art exhibit. I said tape banana, not 120,000, $10. I should have takers, people lined up for it, because mine's 99% cheaper than the one in Seoul, yet nobody wants to buy my taped bananas. I can't figure it out. Matt, let me enlighten you, you jackass. Basically, the entire art market is now and has always been a complete cluster F manipulation. You could have the literal, this is true actually, I'm just thinking this and you'll agree. Matt, you could have the literal Mona Lisa. You could put that damn thing on your lawn and do a mock yard sale, piece of shit chairs or whatever else you're putting out there, old plates with pieces of spaghetti still stuck to the bottom. You put the real Mona Lisa, and I mean the real one, as a, let's just call it a sociological, whatever that means, experiment. Nobody would buy it. You could, if you marked it up to like $1 million, you'd get interest. But you just had the real Mona Lisa, you put $10. Nobody would buy it. But see, when they put the same damn piece of shit in Sotheby's, whatever those damn auction places, then somebody for the Mona Lisa, it would be worth close to $1 billion if Bill and Melvin of the Windows Foundation would bid on it. But if isn't it art? Shouldn't it be the same in my driveway versus in the Louvre? It's such a joke. What an absolute joke. I'm taking the tape bananas down today. Nobody's buying. To wrap up the discussion on the AI before moving on, what will 3 years look like, 5 or say 10? IBM announced, 2 weeks ago that, was it 7,000 jobs are going away because those jobs will be replaced by their own large language model or something like the Chad. Think about companies that are in business to produce clip art. The layoffs start with clip. Image was the start of all this AI madness, producing images. It can just, a few prompts. There are 20 different programs that can produce little panda bears, photorealistic people walking on the beach. The clip art people, they're screwed. They're out of business now, probably. See you later, clip art. But where's it going to go from there? Any kind of simple programming. Greg and I were talking about people coming out of university and college that have computer science degrees. Oh boy, you know what? I'm sorry, they don't need Python programmers anymore. They need somebody to integrate the code that the Chad will provide, to integrate it into the hospital system or the type of computer running the factory. But the actual coders, why do you need them? The actual coders, line-by-line coders. And okay, it's not perfect now, but it's already returning code now. Think of what it will do in 2, 3, or 4 years. The actual coders, Greg and I were talking, there's no job there. They're done. Only, again, the hospital system, the billing system, or the parts and distribution system for Toyota, it's its own system. It's very similar to, what's that first scene or one of the first scenes in Star Wars where C-3PO is purchased? What does Luke's uncle tell him or something? Like a protocol droid that can speak, was bocce ball, because of their evaporators or something? Or anyway, he says, are you a protocol droid? Yeah, I'm a protocol droid. Do you speak bocce? Oh yeah, 6 million languages. Good. Get his broke, rusty ass Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. We need him to speak to the evaporators. See, that makes sense. You'll need people to take the code produced by the Chad and make it work for the particular system or corporation or Arthur's, Daniels, Midland, processing plants or whatever. You'll need people, and then Matt, the protocol droids, C-3PO, they're showing you what will soon become the middleman. Remember, the other scene where he says the hyperdrive won't work on the Millennium Falcon. No, what do you want me to shut down, sir? No, C-3PO, you piece of junk, piece of shit. I need you to talk to the Falcon. See, that right now you will still need real people to take the Chad's work and integrate it into the factory or the corporation. Well, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, C-3PO's literal protocol droids will be that integration. But at least the people that take the code and apply it They'll need a background for computer science and coding. Of course, they'll need to be able to fix little issues where the chat isn't doing it exactly right. But the actual production of code, those people, am I missing something? Why would they have a job? It'll take 3 years or so for all the corporations to adopt this. 3 to 5 years. That's it. All gone. I would not want to be a sophomore or a junior computer science major at the University of Virginia or Miami or Penn State or Iowa. I would not want, if you're graduating now, you can get in with a big company and maybe you can impress them and kind of cement your position. But the ones at school now as computer science majors, you better figure out real quick how to be that integrator, how to integrate, get very, very comfortable with the CHAD, and then be an integrator, how you use whatever it produces into the systems or where the company you're going to be working. You better figure out real quick how to be C3PO, to talk to the Falcon, to have the CHAD talk to the Arthur Daniels Midland piece of shit things that pulls the stalks off of corn or whatever. You better, and what I'm saying is it wouldn't be a bad idea if you're graduating and you're interviewing to show up to the interview dressed like C3PO. I'm not joking. That you don't think that'll get attention? I guarantee this is and this was a joke when I started to present it. The more I think about it, this might actually work. Somebody goes into the interview as C3PO. You can rent that piece of shit outfit somewhere with a briefcase. What the hell are you doing? I'm an expert at the CHAD, at the Gemini, which is coming from Google after Bard, at the large language models. You're all going to adopt these. The person, whoever is graduating as a computer science major, they better, of course, they would have to almost be in love with these large language models. They would have to just really study them and really enjoy working with them because you'd have to understand how it works. It can't be somebody that just doesn't want to deal with it. It's one of the people that will succeed going forward as computer science majors. They'll be loving all this AI stuff. And as soon as their classes are over, they go home on their own time and they talk to the chat and try different programming and just keep trying things. That's the type of person that will succeed in computer science jobs when the jobs go down 90% or 95%. But no, that person then goes to the damn interview dressed as C3PO carrying a damn leather briefcase. What the hell are you doing here? But get security. No, don't call security. You got to hear my pitch here. And then pull out your iPad and play the damn scene where C3PO is going to communicate with the evaporator. Say, that's what I'm going to do. I'm your C3PO. Matt, at first, I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. It wasn't even funny. But now, you know what? The world has gotten into such a place that it might actually work. I'm going to recommend that to my niece graduating this spring. Spotify, the music streaming, is working hard to eliminate tens of thousands of AI-generated songs. And they have programs to find these programs. It's like replicants to hunt down other replicants. From Blade Runner, they're getting rid of all the, hey, look, Spotify, Matt, does that mean there's a real company that's outside of not milk? No, of course not. If you're at the top of this world, you're not milk. I'm not going to bow down to Spotify because they seem to be doing something that Bill would approve of. No, I don't buy it. They could bring in a different type of AI to make their music next week. So I'm not saying anybody should go to Spotify. They're doing the just and righteous thing. But this is the news this week. They're building replicants to hunt down replicants to get rid of all the AI generated. But again, all of it is to maybe the reason, it leads to some really crazy and bizarre theories, more akin to what we really should be talking about on a very serious SERIUS show like Midnight Reality. Perhaps, again, they plan out 50, 100 years, and it's planning now that it has access. I used to say the Whopper computer. That's rudimentary compared to what they have now for their simulated world simulations and their digital twins. The Whopper computer idea we threw out years ago is rudimentary. Maybe they have this period where there is no great music because that will make the AI-generated music seem better. There is no Beatles in the last 20 years. If you go out to little clubs, there is little pockets of greatness. But Alpha, I mentioned, Alpha, one of their albums. It's hard to find because that name is so popular. It's hard to search on Google. I've talked about them recently. One of their albums is called Stargazing. One of the albums is called The Sky Is Mine. So if you want, you would need to use those to put in besides Alpha if you're looking them up on Google. There's little pockets of great music, but that will never be allowed to come to the Jonas Brothers level by this not elk system. It's almost like the 20-year strategy or the 30 or 40-year strategy is to have music so bad that and maybe it's the same if anybody's saying the same with movies and TV shows as well. The bad on purpose is the what exists now because it will eventually make the AI stuff look pretty good. Okay, the AI stuff when they say this is AI song that's taken to the top of the charts, or this is an AI movie, or everything via this TV show is AI, it'll be pretty good because I don't think they can afford to fail. Then you'll compare that to what the Disney writers can do and the woke. Oh, and don't let people do it anymore because it's just going to be this could be the whole reason behind everything. The people will put in their own biases and woke and SJW, and the writers are all tainted and now they strike, so that makes the writers look even bad. This could be a gigantic play because of how bad the content has been, to have the AI more accepted because it'll start being good and people will be like, thank you, my good TV shows are back, my great movies are back. And it would be like, well, this is AI produced. And people will be like, I don't care because these woke assholes have been producing my stuff for 20 years and they can't do it. The people can't do it. They will be convinced that the people can't do it. You need the AI for great works. This could be a 30-year not milk play. So guys, I sat here thinking about this for like 10 minutes. This could be it. It seems to be some sort of strategy. Everything a human can produce sucks or is tainted with bias or liberal themes. And see, is the theme here to get humans out of art? And the writers strike, and it's just, is this a 20-year theme? I mean, it might be. I would need to really think about this for days. But everything the human can do, the writing of movies, the music. I mean, I'm coming back to Spotify. Spotify, it seems like, oh, they're doing the right thing. They could be removing the AI music because it's so rudimentary at this point. They don't want people to hear it and be like, oh, that sucks. That is AI stuff. Is this some beats or whatever? They maybe don't want it too much in the forefront because when it really comes, they want it to be spectacular, far superior to what the human can produce. This whole Disney Star Wars thing it could be the same thing. They could say, okay, Disney's taking up, maybe this will, maybe say 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Disney's taking up, I have no idea. This is just coming to me. I might as well just talk it through, and we'll see if it plays out. Disney's going to produce the first Star Wars movie that's completely written, produced, directed, by AI. Everything's AI, even the way the graphics are done. And do you think it's going to be like the Rey and Poe and Finn and that absolute horse shit? No, it's going to be spectacular. And people will go, I don't care if it's all the writers are fired. I don't care. I want my Star Wars back. I want my Star Trek back. Look how good this is. They won't care that it's coming from the AI and all the people, the writers that we put out in the street. These writers are being completely set up. You look at who's controlling She-Hulk and Marvel and these SJW clowns. It just, come on. Nothing could be this bad. It's bad on purpose. We know that, but what is ultimately the theme? My guess would be when the AI work is introduced, like this is what AI can do, it will be spectacular in terms of a quality movie. I don't want it to be, and of course real people could make it spectacular now. You listening to this, me and Greg in a room, book us into the room, we by ourselves, we could make Star Wars. We could have done 1,000 times better than what J.J. Abrams and what they did with Poe and Finn and Rey. Of course, real people, if they use incredible creative imagination, which they won't do, they want to push the AI. Of course, we could do it better. I'm not saying the AI is actually better. I'm saying this is a 30-year plan to have people embrace the return of their great art and entertainment that will be AI driven, and people won't give a shit where it comes from because they're so dying for, and look at these, so dying for their old franchises that they love. And that's what the army of YouTubers, so we talked about the movie reviewers this week, just constantly complaining about the woke themes, and that's their job. No, they're not in on it. They're not in little cubicle down in Langley or whatever. No, they know where their bread is buttered. They know what gives them 5,000 new subscribers a week, and they'll continue to do it. Look how artificial this 20-year script is playing out. Let's just say Disney. It's the same theme. So there's no creativity. Yeah, thousands of people over there called Imagineers. They just have to take the old stuff that was great and everybody loved, like Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio and the Peter Pan, and they need all this old stuff, and they have no other way to make money. They have to do a live action, and then the woke is inserted, and it's ruined. And it's so artificial. You can see it's so staged how it's made bad on purpose. For example, the new Peter Pan. Every single, the way the shots are, it's just dark and dingy looking. I mean, it's so obvious that their plan is to make it bad. Then they're not going to use an AI to redo Peter Pan and then make that great. This is the destruction era that we're in now. Destroy the old, because the old Peter Pan and the old actually got young kids thinking creatively. Not Milk wasn't as strong back then, or who knows, but there was some great things that were associated with those old Disney works. No doubt about it. They weren't all evil. They weren't. The idea is this era is to destroy the old, and they already have the new ideas and themes. I mean, it's so ridiculous that people think they're out of ideas. I mean, even if they were out of ideas, first again, you, me, and Greg in a room could come up with ideas by tomorrow morning. But they have access per Google and the cataloging of the meta crawling of the internet. They have access to every single legendary story that's ever been written for thousands of years, tribal stories, incredible. They have all of it. Every one they could steal, as they did. Most Disney movies are nothing original. It's stolen from the Brothers Grimm. The Lion King, they say, is stolen from A Tale in Africa. Of course, it's all stolen. Doesn't mean the original Lion King application wasn't brilliantly done. It's the only good thing Whoopi Goldberg ever did. The voice of was one of those hyenas was Whoopi Goldberg. But it's the voice in The Lion King was Whoopi Goldberg of one of the hyenas. It was incredibly well done. Like I said, the only good thing she ever did. If they would actually insert that image, that caricature animation over her actual body in The View, I'd watch it. I'm not joking. All right. At least I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going to play out regarding. We went from the AI and turned it back into the entertainment stuff. But all right, this is the era of destruction, whether it be Star Wars, to destroy the originals, to tie in such horrible work that the originals are pulled in. Somebody might bake a chocolate cake, and it's the best thing anybody ever tasted. But then the next 5 or 6 cakes or 7 cakes or so, can't put 5 and 6 back together. That must be Matt delivering some sort of code. You always walk on eggshells. Then the 7th cake, they're all so horrible that you kind of forget how good, how incredible that first cake was. So and they go back and they destroy everything. Little Mermaid's coming this week or next week. Then destroy. The era of destruction, and then they'll be Indiana Jones coming out this week or next month. That will be destroyed. And people should start blaming these actors. We need to talk about that sometime. Why is Mark Hamill always given a pass? Why is George Lucas always giving a pass? Why would Harrison Ford even go back? This proves, we talk about signing in you-know-what, and Bob Dylan saying, the chief commander made me do it. If anything were real, a few of these actors, like Harrison Ford, would look at the script for The Force Awakens and would say, I want to call a meeting, and, Entertainment Tonight comes in the news, and this is an embarrassment. Never happens. No one ever gets out of line. Again, Say it all. I can hear you all saying it at the same time. Reality gives itself away, like a whole chorus of people in a stadium, like at a Joel Ovaltine event. Reality gives itself away. Hallelujah. Joe Ovaltine. Who would be dumb enough to go and pay money to see one of those giant stadium evangelists? All right. I know they give Christians a bad name. I know. I don't associate good Christians with those clowns. I don't. Of course, I don't. But where's Mark Hamill looking at the script saying, I'm not going to participate in this, and I'm going to tell the news? No one gets out of line. George Lucas, his billions of dollars, no, he would have no way to influence the media. It proves how evil this screen is, how all-encompassing it is. Like the Woodrow Wilson quote, something so powerful, so evil, so all-encompassing, so all-engrossing. When the richest and most powerful men in industry, said Woodrow Wilson, complain about it, they do it with a hush in their voice, or they do it quietly, or whatever he said. I don't even care to repeat exactly what that fraud said. So, but this is not milk. Nobody gets out of line. Why don't the movie reviewer should blame Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher? I'm not going to be a part of this. This is atrocious. And I'm going to tell everybody I'll only be a part of it if it's great again. They could have pushed back, but the fans, they give them a break. Why do they give them a break? It's another thing that proves how downloaded everybody is. Okay, the people that go out to the theaters and see this horse shit, people like my friend Tony, they're like, the kids kind of liked it. It sucked. But, Matt, that's just there's nothing great right now. There's nothing sinister. There's nothing to see here. Okay, there's those downloaded people. But then there's the people that push back. They also have on the download the QAnon hopefuls, the people the Trump supporters, the hopefuls. They're downloaded. The movie reviewers that are kind of saying some of the things we want. We're tired of the woke. We're tired of the SJW. They're downloaded because they just can't see the basics. One would come out and say, it's happening for so long that it has to be basically on purpose. And if they don't see that, maybe they're never going to come around to where we are. They could say, where's Mark Hamill saying this is trash? Where's George Lucas saying this is trash? Maybe, again, somebody will say, there's a clause in his $1 billion agreement. Oh, no, he'd have no way roundabout to put $100 million and have his voice come from somewhere else. Nah, George Lucas would have no ability to do that. That one sentence clause in the contract, they're going to just take his billions from him. Yeah, sure, what was I thinking? Okay, where's Carrie Fisher before she agrees to the new Star Wars, saying this is trash? Where's Mark Hamill? All of them are given a pass. It proves everybody's on the download and playing their role. Even the people that push back. And I hear you. Are we affected as well? There's a lot of reasons we're not. I don't want to get into it right now. Or what is our role? Yes, we have to be very careful and aware of this. We're the only ones in the whole world that aren't affected. And there are objective reasons and things we clearly see, just basically what we've been talking about here, that show we see it differently. Okay? Sure, we're influenced, but we are less influenced or less downloaded, of course, than anybody else. We're not just an equal part in this big puzzle. No way. Anyway, what else is there to talk about? I guess let me look. It's long, guys. I'll wrap it up, get it on YouTube. And for Free Voice, if I can get some of this stuff written, I'm going to try. I don't know if I'll get it done, but headlines like The Onion, but real politically incorrect, basically offensive, and this is the only way to fight back. And I think I can get this done, but we'll see. Thanks for listening.